Access to technology key to the country's goal of becoming a knowledge-based economy. ITF All Tennis Tour G60 organizers happy with the attendance and level of competition displayed at the just concluded tournament. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Now in our first story, President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi and the First Lady, Ms. Neo Masisi, wrapped up independence celebrations with dinner at the State House last night, hosting multitudes of invited guests and dignitaries to celebrate Botswana's 57 years of independence. The event drew attention to citizens' contribution and continuous participation in shaping Botswana's history. The President and the First Lady, Ms. Neo Masisi, gave a toast to the Botswana we see today, to the future and milestones achieved. Various dignitaries included former President Dr. Festus Mogae and former Vice President Dr. Ponatshego Kidikilwe. Now moving on, the Samora Machel Museum, officially opened last year, is a cultural landmark that does not only pay tribute to the legacy of the great Mozambican leader, but also promises to become a driving force behind Lobatse's economic resurgence. This was noted by the Minister of Tourism, Ms. Filter Kering, at an event held to celebrate the late President Samora Machel's 90th birthday in Lobatse. Lone Sokobo reports.
The Samora Machel Museum stands as a testament to the life and ideals of the iconic Mozambican revolutionary leader, Samora Machel. It showcases his remarkable journey from liberation fighter to the first president of an independent Mozambique. Beyond its educational and historical significance, the museum is poised to become a key driver of Lobatse's economic growth. The infusion of visitors, researchers and tourists is expected to stimulate the local economy significantly.
We are continuing with the struggle. We are continuing with the struggle to create employment for our youth. We are continuing with the struggle to provide food and security for our people. And gender-based violence, we are continuing with the struggle to end gender-based violence and the drug abuse amongst our kids.
The two governments, Botswana and Mozambique, celebrated life and work of an African because he made sure that his fellow Africans claim their fundamental human rights and are free from cruel and degrading treatment.
Samora Machel foi e continua a ser ícone da nossa história e figura incontornável para as gerações atuais e vindouras.
Samora Machel continues to be an icon for the new generation as well as the old, as well as for the future coming generations.
Re bua ka molwela kgollesego yo motona. Bona ka re mo bua ka ditso tsa botlhabanelwa kgollesego, ka ditso tsa borwa jwa Afrika, ka ditso tsa Lobatse, ka ditso tsa Botswana. Wa tlhoka gore o hete ka Rre Samora Machel.
The community was encouraged to appreciate, protect and promote their local tradition and heritage as it serves as a reminder of Botswana's commitment to preserving its history for the future generations. Lone Sekobo, BTV News, Lobatse.
Government will install an electrified barrier fence to deter wild animals from entering arable lands in the Northeast District. The Assistant Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Molebatsi, announced this during a Khotla meeting at Karakamati village. Residents have long complained about wild animals like elephants which damage their crops. The barrier is also expected to enhance security against cross-border cattle rustling.
For years, the hardworking residents of Kalakamati village in the Northeast District have enjoyed the heartbreaking sight of their fields ravaged by wildlife, including elephants. These animals, often crossing the border from Zimbabwe, have posed a continuous challenge to the livelihoods of the village farming community. An electrified protective fence is on the horizon, offering hope to the residents wary of crop destruction by wild animals.
Raraba kanya diata go akgaoga dikgomo di ka go masimo jaanong ithirisa itse gore tota re ka dira jang mme keletso ya rona ke ya gore re thuseng ka motlakase. Our fence should be electrified
e teng cluster fencing ko masonga e ke ntshitsweng ke nna e teng ko matopi e leng gore ba matopi ba na le dingwaga ba sa itse tou go kgabola ho jaanong lenaneo le teng ba gaetsho la gore re kata ha cluster ra rona setse le teng e teng cluster ka kwano e ready
What mtakasi?
it's not trata ina le trata e batla go tsengwa motakasela jaanong lenaneo le teng ba gaetsho la gore re kata la thusiwa gore le apply le motakase ke nngwe ya di-subsidy tse di leng teng gompieko.
The region has also been dealing with the menace of cross-border cattle rustlers, adding to the difficulties faced by the local community.
Gate 15 meters away from that gate, Huli Pateka J 5 de Bapile 3. We put our young mo gating and only answered one at the hit at Lihar.
The assistant minister also toured Mbalambi Dam, where he urged the Northeast District Council and the Department of Crops to provide support for reconstruction of the damaged dam. It has come to light that the elephants had caused significant destruction to the dam. Baines Busiro, BTV News, Kalakamati.
As part of efforts to revitalize Libipigwe Premium Nickel Resources Botswana, in partnership with the Town Council and other local stakeholders, holds an annual carnival that coincides with Independence Day, known as the Tsolofelo Carnival. The masses that attended the carnival yesterday were encouraged to actively engage in government-led empowerment programs and to support government efforts aimed at rebuilding the town's economy. Mamusi Siska has more.
Apart from its industrial roots, Silibepigwe town is now bustling with artistic expression, and this flourishing cultural scene is leaving an indelible mark on its economic landscape. Creative entrepreneurs are forging new paths by establishing business related to the arts.
We wanted to celebrate that and to unite ourselves and say that indeed there is hope. Very intentional in terms of supporting our local SMMEs. Over 1,500 people when you talk about the entire production of this, including just where we are right now, really this stage, security, engage cleaning services, they are here to entertain.
And what is interesting today is that from the Ministry of Trade, because singing and artistry is a tradable commodity. How do we actually improve it going forward?
The town's annual Tsolofelo Carnival is not only revitalizing the economy, but also enhancing its identity and promoting community cohesion.
Last year, this time around,
so Kitile can only 3 dancers for Lebanaba Hono benefit from Segesi benefitilem. Totala Tsolofelo Carnival into with exposure and
Beyond this music festival lies the charity projects, through which part of the proceeds from the Tsolofelo Carnival activities are sown back into the community. Mamu Sisiska, BTV News, Silibepigwe.
Now, that story is the one where the local mining company, Premium Nickel Resources Botswana, invested over R1 million to yesterday's Independence Day celebrations as part of its revitalizing program for Silibepikwe. The Solofelo Carnival project aims at empowering the creative, entertainment and entrepreneur sectors to accelerate economic recovery and transformation in the town. Now let's go back to the first story.
The lively mining town burst into a kaleidoscope of colors and jubilation during the Solofelo Carnival Festival, a spectacular celebration that coincides with Botswana's Independence Day. The celebration featured an array of cultural performances and exhibitions providing a vivid display of Botswana's rich heritage. This festival not only showcased the town's cultural and historical wealth, but also represented its determination and dedication to a brighter future.
Ere ho heta ha botshabelo hale o bone le wena gore nyamme zana ke ha go te smoke town wa bona ke o takilwe mo le boteng go gong bontsi ba lona in total I think about 200 entrepreneurs ba itsentse ditlankana yalo tse le gore ne re tshwaraganetse le leya le BTO le bone bo FNB re ile gore go rutuntsha batho ba rona ba ile gore ba itemogetse gore nyamme bone ba ititele sehuba. It's
very important for any corporate entity, my brother, that sets up in Pikwe to create shared value. We're in a new dispensation here. We're no longer looking for contributions. We're looking for something like this. So I enjoy at the back of our minds, in order, what do we stop? What do we continue? What do we improve on as a nation?
In reflection to the Independence Day, it is a reminder of the nation's achievements over the 57 years and its unwavering spirit to overcome challenges and continue growing.
Mme gape ba tsamaya gape ba gone go bokanye ba go ira bo giane metale mme re ba opeleng diata ka gore ha re bua ka khanya inclusion ke yone e tautona e batang ke yone e leng gore le rona e ta re thabolola mme le rona mo Pikwe a re skan ra emela goromente hela a re ikemeleng ka dinao mananeo a teng mananeo wa ke a lona ga sa ga ope gape
go no go le thata bangwe ba ya go mahikeng ba ya go reka diaparo tsa Christmas re sena dishopo ba ga se gompieno re hakane ga te molo wa bula mo bogautshwane mo Pikwe re simolla ya no go dira mo go tembulela ditswe re kgwana gore jaanong re ithekele mo dishopong tse leng tsa rona go no go le thata go sena barutegi gate ga re tsa ipuso bana ba le 12 gompieno re ngongorega ka gore ba ba ntsi kana re ba ntsi maybe la gona ditiro.
As the celebrations reached their peak, a collective pledge was made to continue building the mining town that promotes inclusive, prosperous and sustainable economy. Mamusi Siska, BTV News, Silibepikwe.
Botswana has shown great strides in including everyone in the use of technology with a mandate to achieve a knowledge-based economy. This was highlighted by Head of Department of Library and Information Services at the University of Botswana, Dr. Peter Sibina. Mojadi Mukibelo reports.
Government's research agenda emphasizes the need to transform to digitalization with an intention to bridge the digital gap among societies and unlock opportunities across a spectrum of sectors. Dr. Peter Sibina is confident that government's efforts to attain a knowledge-based economy are bearing fruits as the use of technology is increasingly growing amongst Botswana.
Maybe what we should be asking ourselves, Jaaka re batla go achieve the knowledge-based economy, Jaaka re batla go dirisa digitalization as a driver towards the knowledge-based economy. I'm missing do we have everything in place, or are we doing the right things, so to speak? I think we should in terms of information management, are we doing every other thing that must be done? information in general, records management, because haribuaka digitalization, it so means that even from an administrative and business function perspective, technologies that drive business.
Coordination and correlation between government, private sector and research institutions is regarded as key quality service delivery through the use of technology.
Every other day, a researcher really developer. And what does it mean? First of all, for the industry and for us from the tertiary education sector. So, rena le rona ha go developer, ra developer le rona. That's why collaborations are very important, because we collaborate with the best in the world. Haba researcher, we are part of their research teams. Haba implementa kwa, reta go implementa kwa, re suggest that we implement with the same kwa. That's why, if you look at our partnerships, they're strategic. They're very strategic. And collaborations ought to be that way.
Even though digitalization play an integral part in transforming lives in this era, the public has been advised to be cautious and safeguard themselves against cybersecurity threats at all times. Mojadi Mukibelo, BTV News, Gaborone.
The Minister of Education and Skills Development, Dr. Douglas Letsola-Thebe, has commended congregants of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in that deciding for taking the right step to build a children's chapel within their premises. Dr. Letsola-Thebe, who pledged financial support to buy 50 bags of cement that will be used for the construction of the building, said children whose characters are molded in churches conduct themselves well in schools and are well positioned to take leadership roles in the future. Bethany Mando has more.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church in Tatisaidim is hard at work, poised to build a special children's chapel within its premises, as the existing one has a small holding capacity. Upon handing over the donations, including cash worth 50 bags of cement to be used in the construction of the chapel, Dr. Letsola-Thebe underscored the critical role played by churches in shaping the society by cultivating good morals in them.
Yes, what is happening in school, it is a testament of what is happening at our homes. This is the time that we are seeking your direction. Direct us on how we could lead you well on issues of education. Especially on issues of the children. At this juncture, I would like to look at the children present with us here.
Chairperson of the building committee, Ms. Ntadi Dlodlo, says gestures like this motivate them even more, adding that they are optimistic the project will be completed on time. Those who are financially able have been called upon to join hands with the church and invest in a development that will help mold young people into responsible citizens. Bethany Mando, BTV News, Tatisaidim.
The DBS Group company, through its Ambassadors for Good program, has built a house for a needy person in Mohonye. Speaking at the handover ceremony of the house on Friday, the acting head of human resources at DBS, Ms. Taudifile Setsomokwena, said their build a home project is in which they can contribute positively to a society.
This 3-roomed house is one of the ways the DBS Group is giving back to the community in their efforts in contributing towards the socio-economic development of ordinary citizens. For this project to be completed, the partners received support from the village leadership, DBS staff, and Tsholofelo Desire Charitable Foundation.
Through the AFG program in 2022, we achieved the following as a collective. 1, 12 markets were reached. 443 ambassadors were active. We worked with 110 partner organizations, and there were 73,423 anticipated beneficiaries. It makes me proud to see these numbers because they bring to life our commitment as a company to support our thriving communities and be part of the solutions to some of the challenges that our communities experience.
Having a house is a basic need, and this gesture could not have come at an opportune time when the rainy season is fast approaching.
Yo re fa ka ene kana yo re mo diretse mo nako ya gompieko o taba a sireletsegile le gakologola gore re Prince ona bua ka mo go teng safety moment tota safety moment ka Setswana ke ta se roba hela ka ke Motswana ke mo go teng tlhagiso ka tsa tikologo ya gago gore o se ka wa gobala jaanong this is also part of our safety moment ba gaetso yo re phutileng ha mo nako ya gompieko o taba a babalesegile.
Khosi Katlego Moalusi says this initiative is in line with the country's Vision 2036 pillars.
Tiro ile dirileng mo tsatsing ja gampieno ya itse le sala ka le simolotse lobakanyana mogolo moragonyana hae gore ya lo leboga selo se ke sengwe sa masego a mangwe a leng gore ra ikantse thata re na le mo go teng Vision 2036 ke ngwe ya lesego le leng gore ga ra tshwana go bona ope mo dingwageng tse di tla tsantseng a le mo sutlego.
This project, which commenced last year August, is worth over 240,000 pula, and it has all the basic amenities for a modern house. Terry Makhoeng, BTV News, Mokhonye.
You're watching BTV News, and thank you for staying with us. Now, moving on, Minister of Finance, Ms. Peggy Sarame, says taking responsibility for one's mental health and physical wellness is an important aspect of building the country and ensuring its prosperity. Minister Sarame said this in good hope when delivering the President's message on the 57th Independence celebration. Gilbert Mohorosi reports.
Botswana, just like any other countries globally, is facing challenges of health and wellness. Therefore, it is important for the nation at large to take the responsibility in that regard, since they are crucial players in celebrating a country.
le megopolo ya botshelo e na le tshiamo ga mmogo le ponelo pele e ni tameng gore motho fa a kopana le dikgwetlo a kgone go nna le tharabollo ya tsone e seng gore di mo imele.
Dingwaga tse di masome a matlhano le bosupa tse re di ketang ka gompieno re lebelle ko morago re bona gore mme gone ke le Motswana ki diretse lehatshe le eng gore le bole le ha le leng teng ha ke tlhoka go dira eng le mo go tse dingwe dingwaga tse di tlantse gore ke tokagatse tlhabololo ya lehatshe.
Residents of Morolong in the Good Hope district are encouraged to celebrate their contribution in building the beautiful story of this country.
Ale mme ele wa ntlha mo ditsong tsa lehatshe go nna tona ba madi wa lehatshe la Botswana a re le bogensolo seo ba gaetsho re se opele le go ga jana tautona a re gwatlha gore re hetolele dikakanyo go dira dilo ka botoka mme re tshwanetse re ithate pele re rate ba ga rona se ke tumile Masire Teaching Hospital e dira lwa lwa ntlha mo ditsong lwa monyetse mme ba lo boneng dikgang di go go pele te ngwana wa Morolong wa ha Matlakeng.
Residents were further implored to utilize available government programs and policies to help uplift their livelihoods and create the much-needed jobs. Gilbert Morosi, BTV News, Good Hope.
Still on independence celebrations, Minister Sarame told residents of Pisanimolopo village in the Good Hope district that it is time to introspect and reflect as a nation so as to ensure continual recognition of the importance of celebrating Independence Day. Gilbert Mokorosi continues.
Minister Sarame said that the 57th Independence Day celebrations are transformative as it came at a time the President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi is encouraging the nation to reflect and change mindset, starting with individuals at their respective homes to help propel Botswana from the trap of a middle-income status to become a developed country.
Go supa diwe di le dintsi ga se le se go hela me gape go supa le gone gore re le tšhaba re ntse re le batho ba bantseng ja ba re itshwaranya ba re dirang dilo jang ba ne botlhela ba otlela lona magoko a gore a re change sengwe se bangwe ba se bua ba ne ba bua gore bogologolo kgotla e ne e tlala tota re tlhela gona le bana ba dikole gona le metshameko gona le dikgaisano a re boeleng ko komiti ya VDC le bone ba setse ba supa di project tse ileng gore ba dumela gore ha ba ka thusiwa ka tsone ba ka kgona go itirela madi le VDC mme senyala mo le gona go tlhabolla motse wa garo.
Kotsi Udirile Sekwenyane of Pisanimolopo also encouraged residents, especially the youth, to uphold the traditions of the independence celebrations.
Boipuso ke se le go santse re se ipelele re le Botswana ke so se le go santse re se ipelele ka ntata gore re kila be re busiwa ke bomma mosadinyana bogologolo jalo mme ba re nela gore ba bona gore na le bokgoni re itsamaise letsatsi le le tshwana ke gore re ipelele a o monana a o mogolo a o eng ka gore mo godimo ga mo gape go rotloetswa ngwao ya rona so ha ya tsona gore latlhegela so ya ke a rotloetsa e bile gore re hetole ka ra akanyang ka teng dio dingwe tse le gore ke la be re dira pele ga boipuso di re berekela re tswelle ka tsone tse leng gore ha di re berekele re di tlogele ko morago
boipuso ba gaetso ga se jwa ga khosi ga se jwa ga mokanselara ga se jwa ga VDC ke jwa motswara mongwe le mongwe yo a gile mo lehatsheng la Botswana re tshwana ke gore re boapole rotlhe hela ka go leka ka gore ke boitumelo mo go rona ke boipelo yo re tsatsi la rona.
These celebrations is not just memories for the country, but gives testimony to the true reflections of the spirit of Botho and compassion, which has kept this country united for 57 years of independence from the British colony. Gilbert Morosi, BTV News, Pisanimolopo.
Still on independence celebrations, residents of Malepolole were implored to use the country's commemoration for attaining its independence as a time to introspect and to implement change. Khosi Khari III made the remarks yesterday during independence celebrations, which were organized by Malepolole Ministers Fraternal. Jessica Pilani reports.
Botswana, just like other countries, has attained its aspirations of being independent, which is why the country celebrated its 57th Independence Day yesterday. Bakwena thronged the main khotla to celebrate, treating themselves to the delicacies of Tswana traditional cuisine, music, dance and poetry. As such, Khosi Khari III used this opportunity to remind his people about the challenges that this country has been through in order to reach the 57 years of independence milestone.
Ke segwe ke nngwe kgato e tlhokang gore Motswana mongwe le mongwe a itshekatsheke a lemoge ha tshwanelwang ke go hetola megopolo ya gagwe teng go tlhomamisa gore re le Batswana re nna batho ba megopolo e tshwanang ba re ta tsamaelang go le go bue mmogo mme mo boipusong jwa ngwaga ai re ipela jalo re bo re reditse thata gore mme ha go twe re hetole megopolo ha go twe a re tšhentšha ka tsela e ntseng jang re batla go gatela kae re le tšhaba
gona letsatsi lepe gape le Botswana o na tsholwa ka lone ko ntegale mo re tshwanetse gore re go lebogele mme ebile segolo re leboge Modimo godimo ga tse tsotlhe goreng irile ha sa le re tsa boipuso ra botsela mo tokgamong Modimo a re thusa ditlhabololo tsa nna teng ra nna le boeteledipele ba popotla
As the Christian religion was instrumental in this country's successful attainment of independence in 1966, members of Ministers Fraternal here prayed for this country to maintain the peace and stability upon which this country was founded.
Ga se botlhale ba rona ba gore e re mo nakong ye re bona batho ya re ha ba ntse ba robetse be ba welwa ke dibomo re utlwa ya re batho ba robetse be ba welwa ke matlhotlhapelo a tsitsibanya mmele rona re santse re le ka tlase ga tshireletso.
As the festives continue, it is imperative for Botswana to shift mindsets and forge ahead to find workable solutions that will bring about sustainable developments in this country. Jessica Pilani, BTV News, Molepolole.
Khosi Umphile Bohoma of Komana yesterday urged residents in his village to display a high degree of responsibility as they celebrate the 57th Independence Day. He made the plea at the Komana Kotla, some 20 kilometers away from Maun village in the Northwest District, where they had gathered to receive the President's Independence Day speech. Mpo Aaron was there.
Commenting on President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi's independence message, Khosi Bohoma encouraged the public to embrace mindset change initiative as they celebrate their freedom during these holidays, adding that they need to come up with new and innovative ways to get solutions to their problems.
Re khona go hithelela lebaka le le kana re ntse re itshetetse re ipusa re itsamaisa mme re sa itemogele dikhuduego dipe go tsweletse go ntse go na le thokgamo re tsweletse gompieno re le mo mabakeng ya re tswelela ka go nna re gakololana jaaka gompieno re le motheng bo e leng gore mo gone re amogetse kgakololo e tona e leng gore ke e reng re tshwanetse go hetola ka ga re ntseng re dira dilo tsa rona ka ga teng le ka ga re akanyang ka teng mo e leng gore go re betela tsela ya gore go tokatse seemo sa go tshela ga rona se tokatse mehama yotlhe ya matshelo a rona ka kakaretso.
Families and friends have adopted different ways to celebrate Botswana Day, and here in Maung, some gathered in their respective homes and farms to celebrate in style, while for some, it came as a toast for their academic achievements after successful completion of their studies. Tifo Papani, who graduated from BUST just a week ago, inspired the youth to be creative and innovative in order to create employment as well as contribute to the growth of the economy.
Rona boipuso jo re be re dira moleto wa go ipelela maduo a ga Tifo Papani. Jaanong re kokwantse ditsala masika le ba banyenyane jalo gore Tifo Papani maybe o ka ta ba inspire.
Our graduation ceremony from BUST was a week before the Independence Day. So fortunately we were able to celebrate the beautiful occasion ka ipuso ya rona Botswana, and from that really on a theme of mindset change. I could say what we learned from school basically is not everything say long gore you'll need more hatsi. There's a lot to learn out there. Say long gore you can always improve from on it actually. From there on you take life as it comes. And you make yourself a better person.
As Botswana continue to celebrate this long weekend, they've been urged to adhere to the president's message so as to save lives. Mpo Aaron, BTV News, Komana.
Ghanaian residents have expressed their gratitude for the country's 57th years of independence, reiterated that it is a great milestone that needs for all to introspect and gauge their roles and efforts in contributing to the national economy. This was said by Ghanaian Town Mayor Ms. Olga Ditsie at the town's commemoration event. Emmanuel Rapoa.
Residents of Joining are gathered here to celebrate their country's independence, remembering the foundation years, which comprised of famines and Botswana being classified amongst the poorest countries. However, the bravery of the founding leaders to be bold on Botswana's independence, despite any viable revenue earner to look up to, ultimately paid off as much developmental progress was achieved, with Joanne Mine being one of the national economical icons.
Bantse ba ra epela ditswamung tsa rona gore a ga se nako ya gore Botswana le ene jaanong
a bone seabe se segolwanyane mo ditaemaneng tsa gagwe. Selo se ba ga sentse re se lebogela Tautona gore a re tšhentšheng wa o buang o le ene wa mo diragatsa mme ebile a re tsamela. Ke dumela gore go lo mo go ta tokagatsa le tsholelo ya Botswana segolo bogolo ja le tsholelo ya rona banni ba toropo ya Jwaneng.
Re nna le sebaka sa go ikamoka go lemoga tse re di kgonneng ga mmogo le ditlhaelo tse re tshwanetseng go di fenya ka maikemisetso a go aga bokamoso jo bo botoka.
Metlakase, ditsela, dikolo ke dingwe tse ke ipotsang gore a Jwaneng wa nako eo o naana le tsona. Dipatela a Jwaneng wa nako eo o naana le tsona.
The core values that Botswana are known for, such as botho, hard work, peace, social coherence, were emphasized.
Go tšhentšha ga me ga go tshwane le gayo le gayo ka gore diemo tsa me di harologane mme ke tshwanetse gore ke tšhentšhe ke bonang ka tšhentšha ga kae gore dilo di berekele nna di berekele ga tshelane.
Hipileng dingwaga tse 57 di kgwetuwe ka isetu hane tsesai itu ka isekhikhsin ne testoba ne kaintes ne buipuso Botswana ngahas. Now re a hetola seemo ga sena re a re tšhentšheng ra re ikgethele tsela e isang ko botshelong le isang ko losong.
It is upon everyone to play an active role in preserving Botswana's integrity for her to continue with her status of being an independent republic. Emmanuel Rapua, BTV News, Jwaneng.
The news this hour. Do stay with us. Liza Osekeng on standby to take you through the world of sport. Liza, it's your time right now.
Oh, thank you so much. Right. Thank you so much, Olibile Samoka. Right. Good evening. My name is Liza Osekeng with your world of sport. And in our first story, Guy Vorwerk of South Africa and Freya Pitt from Britain walked away with J60 Gaborone Junior Tennis singles titles after excelling in the finals played out at Botswana National Tennis Center. Vorwerk overpowered top seed Nicolas Roby of France in the boys singles, while Pitt was too good for Moran Jin of China in the girls singles. Ryan Kangonyane has the report.
Vorwerk, seeded 4th in the tournament, booked his place in the finals after knocking Thai host in 3 sets, while top seed Robe defeated Christian van Rooyen of South Africa in straight sets in the other semi-final clash on Friday. Vorwerk dominated the opening set, breaking Robe's serves from the 5th game onwards to take it 6-2. The French teenager looked to have put the disappointment behind of losing the first set, taking a 3-1 lead early in the second set. However, the 4th seed was unfazed as he slowly came back into the contest, putting in some impressive winners, eventually ending up 5-5. In the end, it was South African teenager who managed to keep his nerve, putting away 2 straight points to take the set 7-5, bagging 60 valuable points towards his ITF Junior World Rankings.
It was good. I think I started off well and just carried momentum in throughout the match, and I was managed to come back in the second set after being a breakdown. So yeah, it was a good fight. And yeah, I think it was a good match in total. It's hard to tell, but I think I just played a good, solid match overall in total. So I think it was just consistency. Obviously the goal is to win it again, but I'm just going to try to play my best and see where I go.
He was better than me this match. I didn't play my best tennis. I started with a lot of break points. I had a lot of opportunity in the first set, in the first games of the match, but he saved them like good, and I didn't play like as solid as I was like yesterday in my semis, next week I have another tournament here, so I hope this time is gonna go by my side, and I try my best to win another finals.
In the girls singles finals, British Freya Pitt put up a sterling performance against China's Moran Jin to also earn 60 points towards her ranking. Pitt took the first set 6-3 and continued to dominate in the second set, securing it 6-2 to take the title.
I think I played well, but I think I competed better today. I think I served well, used a lot of variation, and yeah, happy I got the win today. I think competing well in her service games, making balls, making her play one more than me.
Opponent, she did better than me today. I didn't perform well, but she performed really well, and that's why I lost. But congrats to her, Freya, right? Congrats to Freya, and I will try to do my best next week.
The J60 tournament will be followed by the qualifiers for the second tournament of the junior series, the J100 tournament, which starts on Monday. Ryan Kamuyani, PTV Sport, Gaborone.
Still with tennis news, tournament director of the just-ended ITF World Tennis Tour J60 Gaborone, Matshidiso Malope, says they are happy with the attendance and the level of competition displayed over the week. Malope further stated that they expect the numbers to increase as they move on to the ITF World Tennis Tour J100, which commences this coming week.
Tournament ya rona ya ITF under 18 J60 ke dumela re tsamaile sentle. Tournament ya rona from the 25th of September until the 30th, which is today. Tournament ya rona na le 32 girls and then 30 boys. And tournament ya rona ne ngokile batshameki go tswa gone mo Botswana, South Africa, Zimbabwe, China, UK, Hungary, Serbia, France, Spain, Finland. So tournament are not totally mo category under 80. Level of competition is very high. Europe and the second tournament the J100 level even higher.
And finally, the chairperson of the AFCON 2027 bid committee, Ashford Mamelodi, says despite failure to win the bid, they believe CAF should release audited reports so that bidding countries may see where they fell short, even with the successful bid already announced by CAF Executive Committee, who awarded it to the joint bid of Tanzania, Kenya and Uganda. Tlamelo Munsusi has the story.
Mamelodi says his wish was for CAF to decide on which countries should be given the rights to host AFCON based on the bid book and auditors' reports rather than taking the political route.
I've introduced auditors to do the evaluation. I was very excited because being in football as long as I know, this round table of politicians of football is not the safest to make a decision. One of the things I question, and I could be wrong, but this is my conviction very strongly, is that if you engage auditors like that, all you have to do really is to accept or endorse their report. You can't vote because you haven't got the benefit that they have.
Mamelodi says one of the reasons they decided to jointly bid with Zambia was because of Botswana's low population. He said they wanted to activate participation and input from all cassava countries in order to increase the numbers.
Ghana, this event is a cash cow for CAF. And you know, in terms of your commercial side of football, these numbers matter. But now we are going to find ways strategically of trying to get those numbers at, of course, the level of the LOC. So I wasn't too particularly worried about it. I knew it kept on working in my mind. And this is why we spoke about the SADC approach, where South Africa will be there and the other two giants. The other thing is I would not go beyond two in co-hosting. And remember also, it was Motsepa who said he would like to see smaller countries hosting together, you know what I mean, so that AFCON moves around, which is a good thing to do.
Botswana should improve her stadia and upgrade the state of the hotels to increase her chances of hosting the competition in the future.
We need to go back to Botswana government and tell them that, look, we were marked low on hotels. We were marked low on what is the other issue now? On the fact that we don't have 6 ready stadia. You know, that we lost marks. But we were marked very high on peace and security. Very high. The bid book was the best. That is not disputed by anybody. It was considered the best bid book. Tourism, very, very high.
Botswana has learned a lot from this bid and will use the experience they gained to bid to host for such major competitions in the future. Tlamelo Munsusi, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
Well, and that is it for sport this week. I'll be back again in a week's time. Olibile Samoka is standing by to give us the back hits. Right, so.
Thank you so much. We have done our work for tonight. Let's meet again the other week.
Of course.
And that is how we come to the end of our news. But first, let's take a look at stories that were making headlines. The President and First Lady wrap up Independence Day celebrations by hosting a dinner at State House. Universal access to technology key to the country's goal of becoming a knowledge-based economy. ITF World Tennis Tour J60 organizers happy with the attendance and level of competition displayed at the just concluded tournament. And that is the news this hour. To stay with us, weather up next.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather forecast. I'm Pearl Victoria Hosiame. Let's start off by looking at tonight's satellite overview. It's showing some fine conditions over much of Botswana with patches of clouds over the northeastern parts of Botswana. For tomorrow, we're expecting some cloudy conditions over southern, central and northeast, becoming partly cloudy later. But for southern, southeast, Gauteng and Kwening, cloudy conditions becoming fine later. And partly cloudy conditions over northern, central, Chobe and Ngamiland, and fine conditions over Khanti and Kalahadi. In the mornings, we're expecting some mild temperatures over southern Khanti, Kalahadi and southern district, ranging between 12 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius. But for the bulk of the country, mostly warm temperatures of around 16 over Gaborone and Oliphants Drift to 17 over Silibi, Piquim and Mahalape. But for Maung, Panda and Suapen, we're expecting some hot temperatures. As the day continues, we're expecting some mild temperatures over southern, central and northeast, warm over northern, central, southern, southeast, Gauteng and Kwening, ranging between 28 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius. Hot over Khanti and Kalahadi between 33 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius, and very hot over Ngamiland and Chobe between 36 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius. Looking at the active wildfires, as indicated by the red color, is showing active wildfires are continuing to burn over many parts of Botswana. The fire danger index is showing very dangerous to extremely dangerous conditions over much of the country. Therefore, the public is advised to handle fire with caution. For SADC cities, we're expecting some fine skies over Appleton, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth and Maseru, partly cloudy conditions over Johannesburg with highs of 21, cloudy conditions over Manzini with highs of 19. But for Antananarivo, we're expecting some partly cloudy conditions with highs of 29. And for Beira, some cloudy skies with possibilities of rain with highs of 25. Fine skies over Harare, Lusaka and Windhoek. For Dar es Salaam, we're expecting some fine skies with highs of 33, partly cloudy conditions over Blantyre, Luanda, with highs of 29 over Luanda. For Kinshasa, some partly cloudy conditions with possibilities of isolated thunder showers with highs of 36 degrees Celsius. That is all I had for you tonight. Have yourself a wonderful night.
Welcome to beautiful Botswana, where the warmth of her people and wildlife is welcoming, where the vibrancy of her land echoes in the unforgettable voices of her people. Come and see Botswana in her splendor, a place to live, work, and invest. Botswana, our pride, your destination.